Hey everybody! Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
The dynamic duo.
We are back again. And I'm really back. I was in Italy. I know you guys all know about that because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. No, I can't keep my mouth shut again. Yeah, I know.
Insert eye roll.
I don't blame you. It's a bit annoying.
No, but so happy for you. I know it was a great adventure. We're going to see lots of amazing layouts come from Nancy because, of course,
because I gotta use them.
Thousands of amazing photos.
I actually was trying to look for projects from that I took of instructors before I left. I gave up and retook pictures because.
Did you?
Yeah, it was like trying to find stuff on my camera roll right now. It's all Italy, of course.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah, right. So what are we doing here? Every second week, the dynamic duo. That's Heather and I. We come on.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. That's awesome. We come on. We give you some good information and techniques every couple weeks. Our take on whatever our topic is of the week, and every 2 weeks we also offer the dynamic duo demo deal. I don't know who set us up with that.
I had
name.
some dental work this morning, so I'm letting Nancy say that one. Yeah.
Smart.
It's all you.
Smart. All right, so what is it this week? We are 25% off Minte and Simple Stories. There's a method to our madness. That's September 4th and 5th. So today our topic is scrapbooking photos that don't have people in them. This was actually a special request. Carolyn Patton asked me to cover this, and it actually worked out perfect because I was in Italy and I took a bunch of pictures of things.
Things, buildings, places,
food,
the things.
Souvenirs,
the
blah, blah, blah.
food,
The
yeah.
food, yeah. So there was that. And then we got talking about B-sides of the scrapbook page. So I know you're like me, you get your Minte paper and it looks like that and it's gorgeous. And you forget to look on the other side. So we're going to talk about what's on the other side of your paper, but it fits really well with our topic, which is why it's coming up. Because one tip or trick that I have for scrapbooking without people is that you need to pump up your focal point. So one way to do that is pull back on your scrapbook busyness.
Very good ideas.
Anyway, no, these are not rules, they're guidelines. I'm going to say something and somebody out there has broken this rule. Yes, I know this. But
it's all personal too.
But
right?
it is very
It's
personal,
all what appeals
right?
to you and how you want to, lay that down.
Right.
But Nancy's got some really good ideas listed here.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Can you hear us okay?
You know what?
We don't have the microphone.
We need the
in.
microphone.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. And the store's busy,
Dun,
so
dun, dun.
I just want to make sure everybody can hear us good. Okay, we're just going to hook the microphone up. Thanks everybody that's here. Thanks to everybody that will come find us on the replay. And then, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We can hear us better now.
Is that better? Well,
Don't,
I better not yell now.
On the subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Paper and Ink Boutique. All the previous Monday Night Lives that Julia has hosted are loaded onto there, as well as the Dynamic Duo. So there's just oodles of information and inspiration on our YouTube channel. And of course, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. What else do we do?
Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
We are the social media
Yeah. Okay.
scrapbook place.
Should we maybe just tip it and we'll just talk?
Tip it and flip it? I think we will.
Okay.
I'm going to go around and do that. So if you need a minute to look away while we get ourselves set up and ready.
Yep. We're just going to bring it up here to ask us questions.
Yep.
Oh, we're quieter now.
Sound is quieter. How does that happen?
I'm not sure. And of course, we have Dynamic Duo in 2 weeks. We have not decided. No, we haven't decided. Excuse me, on what we're going to do. So if you have ideas or suggestions, something you want us to dive a little deeper into,
We love suggestions.
yes, please drop that in the comments as well.
Okay. So Heather's going to coach me and tell me if we're good. We should do.
Ooh, going for a ride here, everybody. How's that? Sorry, everybody. Yeah. Hang on.
We can go up a bit.
Yeah, we're gonna come up a bit. Sorry. Thank you for your patience.
One of these days we may be able to have a 2-camera setup, but that would require more Wi-Fi, which
Where already got a lot going on.
Right. Someday the tech will catch up to what we want.
Yeah, right? If everything was only instantaneous. How's that look, everybody? Can you see that? Let me catch that live here. Yes, welcome back, Nancy.
I think that looks good.
Okay. Okay. So, I know Nancy's working with some Minte today. Can't see all the comments.
Right.
But I've chosen Simple Stories. So, of course, both Minte and the Simple Stories are 25% off. I've been working with this fabulous new collection. This is the Cider and Donuts by Simple Stories. Beautiful fall collection. I love fall. So, yeah, I love all the fall things. As I say that with my pumpkin spice latte today.
Good job.
Yes, I deserve that.
It's too far
after
away
the
and crooked.
dentist.
Okay, let's see if we can.
I know,
Ooh.
right? If only it wasn't just instantaneous. Found what we were doing and focused on it. You know, these phone camera stands can be a pain. Sorry. Thank you for staying tuned.
Yeah.
And the camera stand's all locked into place, so we are just adjusting as we go.
Okay, I'm going to move that computer,
Okay.
and then we've got more counter space.
Okay.
And this can go over there. Yeah.
You can see my layout that I've started here. Great.
Still. Oh, sorry, guys.
Okay, I know. Sorry, this is the painful part. Sorry.
Okay, we've got there to there.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, are you still with us?
We didn't lose anybody. Yay!
Are we good? How's it look?
I think it looks. I will adjust if I have to, but we're just going to get started into talking.
Yeah.
And I'll watch Heather for a minute, and if I think we need to change something, I will make that happen.
Okay, so again, the topic here, the suggestion was scrapbooking, scrapbook layouts that don't necessarily have people in them, in the photos, etc. So more scrapbooking things. Every other thing, I guess, would be besides that. So I'm sure everybody's camera roll has some of their favorite photos, or of their favorite seasons, or their favorite places.
Right?
All the things. So like I said, I'm using this new Cider and Donuts from Simple Stories. I love fall, so I do tend to take some fall photos. I did have a few photos that I had taken at the Saskatoon farm last fall, actually. So I was going to work on a layout with that. So as you can see, it's photos, not of people, just of some things, some cute things I found at the market. And then one of the great things I like to do, and for some people who are somewhat challenged, feel challenged to get started with their scrapbooking, is start with a sketch.
I love starting with sketches, and you know what I
Yes.
find too about sketches is I may not always stay with the sketch, but starting with a sketch is a great jumping off point.
Yeah, so here's the newest one. This is the September 2024 sketch designed by Jennifer Edwardson for Creative Scrapbooker magazine. So you'll find this on the Creative Scrapbooker Instagram page, Facebook page, as well as Jennifer Edwardson. Jennifer's been designing sketches for more years than I realize, than I know. And I've been using her sketches a lot for layouts. So you can do her online classes, you can purchase virtual classes and get the PDF, or you can register and come do some layout classes with Jennifer here in store.
You betcha.
So this is something that I really suggest for people that are looking for a great way to get started and just get some ideas. So that's my first tip. Sometimes just start with a sketch. So as you can see here, that's exactly what I've done. I just started with a sketch. And you can always alter it and modify it, of course, too. So I go into scrapbooking things other than people the same way I would everything. Like I want it to just be a nice cohesive look. I'm pulling out my favorite project, or products, and I'm rolling with it, right? So to me, it doesn't matter what's kind of in the photo. I still want, you know, a really beautiful outcome. So I'll use a sketch for many things. And then alter it as needed too. So Jennifer has in this sketch here, so 3x4 photos, which are you can easily size down with an app or program depending on what printer you're using or where you're having them printed. But most places you can have them printed on a 6x4 where you get a couple 3x4s. Anyways.
And let's be real. I take my photos in such a way that there's usually croppability there.
Exactly.
So if I just print them off 4x6, I can always bring it down to a 3x4.
Yeah, because even if it's a cool photo, you can still chop it in the middle.
You betcha.
Like if you got a mountainscape, you want to dance for the day or whatever, that looks cool too.
Or just put two together and call it a 4x6 and a 3x4.
You do whatever you want. Yeah.
Right?
No, totally. It's a suggestion. It's an idea, and then you go from there. And then these little guys, generally in your collections, you get a page that has like the 3x4 cut-aparts. So this one would be from Cider and Donuts. It's a 3x4 element. So as you can tell here, this is what I chopped off. So these are the exact same size as your 3x4 photos. These aren't necessarily just for pocket scrapbooking. I'm using it as a piece on my layout, because I wanted the two 3x4 photos, and then I'm going to use a 3x4 little pattern block from the collection there. So anyways, yes, so start with a sketch, go from there, and I think just pull out your favorite products that are going to go with your photos and look at it. They're, you know, think of it as the same way as any scrapbook layout that you're going to do, okay?
Yeah.
So that's just a little something there to start you off with. And then, of course, I do suggest following along and using the sketches. Even print them off, put them in a book if you want.
I keep mine in a book.
Yeah.
I actually put them in a page protector.
And then, like Jennifer says, too, well, then next time you use it, maybe you want to flip it.
Right.
Or maybe you want to do it this way.
Right.
This way.
Yep.
So it's so multi-purpose. Use it over and over again. Okay. I'm going to let Nancy yap for a little bit now, too.
All right. So these, yes, I did my trip already. But I have lots of stuff that I took pictures of that don't have people. So the thing about being a scrapbooker is when I was taking my photos, I actually knew that I was going to scrapbook them, right? So my photography changes a little bit. And I have some tips and tricks as a scrapbooker to take photos and the way I even crop them. I have some tips and tricks for that. So one thing that I do is I'll take so if this was the scene that I wanted to capture, I will take it horizontally and vertically. I'll take the picture
both ways. Yeah.
Then I have the choice when I get home. Not to mention with photo editing and cropping, I'll be honest, I don't think there's one picture here that doesn't have something else outside of where I've printed that I chose to maybe I kind of zoomed in a little bit. I definitely wanted the feel of the harbor in this picture and had that on the right. You know, the thing about it is your composition you don't want to just, if you're taking pictures that don't have people, you need to think about your photography just a little bit more, because your faces will naturally draw attention. But what you need to do is think about what's going to draw the attention in this picture. Well, this tower, right? So that became a big feature photo, and I definitely wanted the length that way. And then, you know, the harbor, I wanted the length this way. And so the other thing I did was I actually these are all 5x7s. So I went a little bit bigger, and I went with high contrast mattes. So I did all black. And this is B-side of the Minte. So there's what it would have looked like if I'd used the other side. But I wanted to calm down the busyness of the background. And then I picked colors from my photos and really made sure to go
that you weren't covering those colors up.
Yes, because
you can see
that'll
hints
help
of kind of that rust color, which is in here.
Right, which will pop the color out of the things. But anyway, back to the photography is, so either when you're taking the picture or when you're cropping the picture to print, you want to consider the focal point of your photo. So, or your foreground, like what is going to draw the eye and make that picture more appealing than just a random scenic picture.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I take lots and lots of pictures of the same thing so that I can do some creative editing. I happen to know that if I zoom back on this picture, yes, I would get more of the Adriatic Sea in the background. That was beautiful. But there's this really ugly thing that I ended up cutting out. And actually what I was interested in was the scene and the look of all these roofs, this roofscape.
Yeah.
So that's like what I was like here again. That's, you know, so Game of Thrones. It's not even funny. There's we hiked this so you can see that in there. The other thing. So anyway, so that's the sort of things where I really like using the B-sides is it brings in color and texture, but by not having something super busy, like perhaps the balloon. I'm actually saying, look at these pictures.
Yeah.
Right?
This would be a great one if you want to maybe feature one
Cool
photo.
Yeah.
And then maybe pop up some elements around it type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, but by using like the B side where you still get all the colors, some cool looking texture, your eyes are more drawn to what's in the photos.
And the other thing that I was able to do was, like if you look, this one is right side up, but because I was using the B side, I wanted the orange. So this one is flipped upside down. Yeah. So you wouldn't even know. Yeah. So I just because I wanted this nice white-ish block to be where my title could go.
Yeah. And as a tidbit for scrapbookers out there, we don't recommend that you would scrapbook on this side anyway, so it doesn't matter what's on the back side, because some people,
I know
think
people
in their head
want
you want
to
to
be
scrapbook
frugal,
but that
I find that limiting and
Yes.
difficult,
Yeah.
and I think anything that you could do to make your scrapbooking easier.
Yeah, for a $1.50 for a piece of paper. Or
Get out a
something,
fresh sheet.
Just that's going to cover it up. If you're putting it in the sleeve, it's going to go back to back. It's all good.
Yeah, you bet. So then the other thing that I was focused on, and I think Heather would agree with me, is allow your ephemera to point at your pictures or to grab your attention to the pictures. So like for this one, I had a kind of a dead space up here that wasn't very interesting, but I also wanted to draw attention over to this photo. This is kind of my feature photo. So I put my ephemera here, and now it's sort of grabbing your eye to kind of come on over here and take a look, right? Here again, I'm saying, you know, I've kind of got it in the middle. It's kind of spreading out amongst the bowl. Now, do I actually think about these things when I'm scrapbooking? Not very often.
No, but I think we're used to doing it this way. Yeah. In a visually appealing way.
That it becomes second-hand nature.
Yeah.
But I will say, once I know these rules, they kind of percolate subconsciously. Yeah, of course. So I don't necessarily sit here and think, oh, I need to worry about my focal point and I need to map my ephemera over here. But if you know this, and you maybe try to incorporate, say, I'm going to worry about contrast on this one. Yeah. Say, so there I got a lighter and dark going on so that the pictures pop rather than the background. So that's the sort of thing. And then the last idea that I had that I tried to incorporate in here was my journaling and titles. So I think journaling and titles on a page like this is even more important than
with people.
Because I'd go along and I'd be, oh, there's Aunt Kathy, or you could know that.
Yeah.
But why are these pictures that I could print off the internet important to me?
Yeah.
I was there. I was in Dubrovnik, Croatia, August 2024. We hiked the walls encircling Old Town in the pouring rain. It was challenging and incredible. So I can know that I was right there, and these are my pictures.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the other thing too, Nancy picked out like 4 amazing photos. She did blow them up a bit because this really, held something special to her for this adventure. Right. If you take a dozen photos, if Nancy would have taken a dozen photos of all these different angles, Nancy does not need to include all 12 on here.
No.
I see this happen a lot too.
That happens a lot.
Think
you take your pictures and you think you got a scrapbook.
You do not. You need to highlight your favorites. Pick a few, pick a couple, maybe you just want one. If you size them down, you could have like a row of them. It depends too on the size you're printing, but if you're printing 4x6, don't put more than you need on the layout, because
Right.
you still want to have fun with your layout, like your colors and your title and, you know, the artistic side of it too. Pick your favorites. If you have too many photos, it's overwhelming and it loses that impact.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. And then the other thing, just to kind of riff on that, is another way I could have gone with this, which could have been really interesting, is making sure. So this, I think, is probably, I would call my feature photo. It's the one that I really wanted to. It was just, I felt it was the best photo of the bunch.
Yeah.
And it was the one that I felt was grabbing. So I think that one would be the one to pick to make big. I could have made the rest of these smaller, and then this one would have really stood out.
Yep. But what you've done here too is you added on extra cardstock. There's obviously some foam adhesive under there.
Yeah.
So it is the feature too.
Yeah, it's still the feature. And I found too, sometimes with scenery, especially when there's a lot going on, the smaller pictures, a lot of things get lost. So that's why I really liked the idea of blowing them up.
Yeah.
Now, there's nothing to say that I couldn't do 4x4s of,
That would be
you know,
awesome.
Yeah, like maybe I just want to feature this little bit of this picture just to get the sense of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe somebody's going to look at that and go, "That's a lot of wall there, Nance. Maybe you should have just done that." Great creative choice.
But then even by creating yourself, when you're consciously taking your photos of an adventure or your walk or
Yeah.
your backyard or something, if you give yourself opportunities like this where there's cool texture but not a lot behind it, you could do a cool, some phrase stickers, even a journaling tag,
Yep.
some rub-ons.
You betcha.
You know, use that. You can use that too as your real estate for
your journaling,
for more
titles and
embellishments or
embellishment.
something
You
there
bet.
too. Yeah, even here I've done that. I think on my previous 49 and market layout, I used some of the open space on it, and I used a rub on there, right? So
Oh, those acetate.
and yes,
Those are
for
great
sure.
for overlays over corners and stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay, so Joanne is asking, what do I do with my other photos? I'm going to tell you a couple of things I do with the other photos.
Yep.
So, trip to Italy. Sorry, not trying to brag, but it's true.
Insert eye roll.
Yeah, go for it. I literally would flip through my pictures during my trip now. I'm actually getting better at this, and it was something that I started right away. So I should have brought my phone up, but I'll just start flipping through my camera roll, and let's say I have 2 pictures of my sons in front of the Coliseum. I pick one and I delete the other one.
Yes.
It's there.
Pick the best.
Right there, because later on I cannot make that decision. But for some reason, when I'm in the moment, I can be like, well, that's the better one. So I'll delete photos immediately so that I don't have to deal with them later.
I'll do the same. Take a few options. If they're very similar, narrow it down right there.
Right there,
Yep.
right there.
Hit
Okay.
delete.
The other thing that I will do is if I really feel they need to be included, I might have another page, which is basically just the page protector with the sleeves.
Yes.
And I'll just put them in, and they're there to see. I'm not scrapbooking them, but as you flip through, you can be like, oh, yeah, and you don't miss out on seeing those things. But I'm not going to, I really feel in our digital age, we take a bazillion pictures, and if I was to try to scrapbook every single one of them, I would kill myself. It just would not happen.
No.
So I want to make nice feature scrapbook pages that feel good to me and allow me to express myself. And
Creativity.
yeah,
right?
the other thing that I have heard is, so this is going to go in a page protector, and there's going to be a page protector behind. If I am concerned, if I don't love the photos but I can't throw them away, I will shove them in between the 2 pages, and they're there. And I'm going to almost guarantee you will never pull those out.
Yeah. I know
But at least they're there.
A lot of people have a hard time deleting the photos, but ask yourself, if it wasn't you looking at them and it was another person, don't you think just a few with some information is all they need? The rest is going to become redundant.
Yeah, and the other
Pick the
thing,
best of the best and just carry on.
yeah, and the other thing I kind of like about touring Italy as a scrapbooker was that I can be more critical about what I want later. So I might not even bother, or I might take the picture, but then I'll be like, okay, that's going to go on a page that has 4 pictures on it, and it's just going to be like a quickie, and then this one's going to be a feature photo page. And you're actually planning while you're taking the freaking photos.
Scrapbookers take photos differently, that's for sure.
That's for sure. So again, like I said, so make the other one, my other big one is to take your pictures horizontally and vertically. Take a huge wide. That's the other thing. You gonna say it? I have a feeling you're going to say it.
No, you say it, and then we'll see if we're on the same
Okay.
track here.
Take the photo wide, take the photo mid, take the photo on a focal point.
Yes.
So you're going to end up with more photos than you can ever possibly need. And you're doing this on purpose so that when you take the wide photo, with photo editing software, I could crop it down however I want. I could take this part, I could take this part. So there's lots of opportunity to play with the composition of your photos. But if you take a few different viewpoints of the same thing, then you got your options for your artistic layout layer.
For sure.
And that also goes right back into sketches, because I don't know how many times I've grabbed a sketch and I'm like, oh, I didn't take that picture vertically, but I really like this sketch and it would have worked. Oh, damn. So, but now I have a little bit more freedom in grabbing my sketches because I have multiple options on my camera roll.
Yep. And then the other thing is too, like you can tell Nancy's on a bridge here, but taking your photos too from different angles. You want to be looking up. Maybe there's like a cool cobblestone. Well, then crouch down a little bit and take a different angle of it as well, right? So you're just thinking differently. Even if it's of my yard, then I take photos of like the grand yard. Yeah. But then I get up close and personal with some of each plant, or I kneel down on the grass and take a shot from like ground level.
You betcha.
Right? So you're looking at things differently too to give it more visual appeal. And it's the same concept as if you're scrapbooking your friends or your family or your pets or whatever.
Yeah.
You're wanting some interest there too. Like if I take pictures of my dogs, I get down the same level as they are and
Way
take
better.
it from that angle as well.
Yeah, because
Right?
when you get down on the level of something, it's again about that focal point.
Focal
It
point,
becomes
yeah.
the good focal point of what you're looking at.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, people, do not be afraid to pick the best of the best of your photos.
And do not be afraid to delete
Brighten them up, edit
To
them
be
a little bit,
perfectly
and
honest,
delete the junk.
Yeah, perfectly honest. Once you delete them, and if you never
Yep,
saw that photo
done,
again,
gone.
you'd have never thought about
Nope.
it. And just think the other thing too is back in the day, they didn't take as many photos as.
No.
But we treasure all of those photos. Now it's almost overkill.
Yeah.
Like there's just floods of photos out there.
Yeah.
So we have to edit those out. We have to. Otherwise, we're just going to.
Then you feel overwhelmed.
It's
and then
very
you
overwhelming.
feel like, I'll never get all these scrapbooked. Well, you don't have to. Pick the best of the best and carry on.
Yeah, and like I
Yeah.
said, if you feel like you need to keep them, put them in some page protectors.
Yep.
Call it done, and just pepper it in. Pepper it in your book, or just put them in the middle. What you got, Heather?
Agreed. Okay, there was a few things I wrote down just as tips too for scrapbookers, because we get a lot of comments like, your page has so much depth or interest, or I love the way it looks. And there's some things that we do that are really simple, but we've been doing them so long. So we talked about, of course, number one, using a sketch.
Yep.
So that it's reminding you to bring in different patterns. So this is all one collection, but there's different patterns in it, but yet it still lends to a very cohesive look because it's the same color scheme. Okay.
Gotcha.
So there's that.
Some great designer somewhere has done a lot of the work for you already.
Exactly. So use
Use
the
the
collection,
coordinates, yes.
right? And I flip through all the sides. That might be the A or the B, and pick whatever's more complementary to each other and to your photos. Do they have to be matchy for your photos? No, you have to get over that too. Sometimes you see how this photo is quite bright. This is quite muted. Now my photo really pops.
Right.
Do I want it to pop a little bit more? Then I'll add this very light colored cardstock, and that will act as a matte.
Wow.
Right? So then it helps the photo stand out even a little bit more because I've given it some
High contrast.
high contrast colors behind it too. Okay, I'm going to bring this a little bit closer too. This is something actually I also learned from Jennifer Edwardson. Might be hard to tell on screen here, but I like to use my sanding blocks. We sell these little guys, they're just $3.95. And I sand the edges of my cardstock. Okay, I know you ladies out there, I know I have some friends out there, they do this all the time too. And it's really easy. I just sand it, okay? And I left one edge of this unsanded so I can just show you. So I just take my sanding block and you can hold it on the edge of your desk and do it that way too. I just hold it in my hand, give it a little bit of pressure in behind it with my finger, and that's all I'm doing. I'm sanding it. So I'm exposing that white core of that pattern paper. So this also gives it more contrast against the cardstock in behind it. Maybe subtle, but it is enough.
Right.
Okay?
But if you don't like the white, you can always add it a little darkness back with a little edging.
You can edge ink it with your any of your inks. You could use your paper distresser, which you could use there where it's torn. You can tear it with your hands, use your distresser. I do this so often too. It's giving you different textures, right? So consider that. Sanding, inking, distressing the edges. I use a ton of the Scrapbook Adhesives foam dots or squares. Also my foam roll. So in this instance here, I would probably I don't know that I would necessarily put foam tape behind all the photos, but I might even do this. This one's facing in, right? And this one I have sanded the edges of, so that's just that pattern paper. And I'm going to attach this with some foam tape behind. So it stands out a bit against the actual photos. So it's almost like adding an extra layer of journaling or some, words to it too. So some foam adhesive. On Nancy's page, I'll use as an example. So adding some lift with your ephemera as well. So some foam tape underneath there. And it's not adding much bulk to your books. You're not adding a lot of bulk or heaviness that way. Like the foam squares or foam tape, are really minor. And they're just a great way to give you extra depth so that not everything's just flat one layer.
Yeah.
Flat one layer is just super boring.
It is, and it's incredible what it does. Like this little bit of shadow, you think you can't see that, but you do. You do notice it.
And then on this side, one of my other notes was, and of course I'm going to post my layout too to the group once it's finished, just like last time, so I'll talk about it, and then you'll see the finished project. Clusters around your photos, so not just floating off in space,
Anchor them.
One by one, you want to anchor them. So they're anchored here by a bit of tucking and layering around the photos. So it's still drawing your eye to the photos, but you're adding some interest around it. Okay, so that's the layers, the clusters, bit of foam tape in there. That's it. It's awesome. And then you can continue to build that way too. Tuck in more pieces, or maybe just like a little title there, or like a feeling sticker type of thing.
You betcha.
Something like that. And then one of the other things too, so I always buy when I buy a collection, so with Simple Stories, like we said, everything's 25% off. They have all the things. So you get the collection pack, you get the ephemera packs, and these are all super, super helpful. They're great for making cards with as well, little mini books. But here's one, it has the titles in it. So, and see all these little bits, they're gonna be excellent for creating clusters around my photo. Around my photos, create some bits of stuff there, the pumpkins and the leaves. My title's gonna go up on the top as per the sketch. But then I would use one of these words, like here's cozy, thankful, hello. So say I was gonna use hello, because I actually have not decided yet.
Here's something I gotta say about using those. So one thing I got thinking about today, which I hadn't thought about why I do this until today, but I love using the titles from the packs. Rather than calling this layout, sorry I keep bringing this one back, but rather than calling this layout Dubrovnik, I love that I called it the scenic route, because that's kind of like a higher level title that's kind of meaningful. But then I left some of the information for the journaling. Everybody has such a hard time with the journaling. If I use, like in this case, you use hello as your title, now whatever you want to say about these pictures isn't in your title, and you've got something to say.
Then I have something to journal. Where this was, why I was there, when it was. Yeah, your title isn't necessarily Backyard Fall 2024.
Exactly.
Hello.
Hello.
There's
hello.
No, yeah, hello. There's no interest in that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you use a feeling or
Yeah, and that's where I love reading like my Vicky Boutin stickers, or
Yes.
even these titles, because I don't always know what to say, but
You get
you
different
pull it out, it
ideas.
says thankful or hello, and you're like, oh yeah, that's totally what I gotta use.
I know I've done that before, like, you know, some of the sticker sheets even, or some of the pattern papers have cozy days, thankful for you. Like, these are all
Yes.
things you could use as titles too.
Yes.
Bushels of fun.
Bushels.
Nuts about you. That one's hilarious.
That's awesome.
That's a cute little card one. So back to the title.
Sorry.
No, this
We riff off each
we
other
totally
all the
do.
time.
Well, we have great ideas, Nancy.
We do.
So this is just a title word out of the ephemera pack. I would probably lift this up with some foam adhesive just to give it some dimension.
You betcha.
And then changing the style, color, size of your font to create interest too. So I wouldn't necessarily grab the other word that says hello fall from this package. I would do hello and maybe fall from like a thickers kind of sticker. Obviously I've used that one plenty, but these are just from my stash. So I'm using different fonts, different colors, different heights,
Yep.
right? Like pull in something like that. Okay, these ones I have to talk about because they're awesome. So these, we do have quite a few of these in stock and I love them. These are the thickers by Vicky Boutin. So they're actually mixed media thickers stickers alpha. You can ink these, you can
Yep.
spray them, you can paint them. So these look awesome. Like even if you want an ombre color, just use your little ink blending brushes. Oh my gosh, these are perfect. So then you can get these and you can create color with them to match any layout you're doing.
Right.
Everybody needs these, just FYI.
Agreed.
Anyways, I'm going back here. So we also have these gold ones from the Charm collection in stock too. So Hello Fall in these gold ones.
That would look a stunner.
Wouldn't that look awesome?
Yes.
And then I would bring in some like gold enamel dots throughout with my clusters,
Yep.
maybe beside my journaling, and bring in the gold there too.
You betcha.
It's a nice warm color. It goes with everything.
And the golden leaves of fall.
Exactly.
So many levels.
So you're creating interest, difference in the dimension, you know, sand the edges, ink the edges, foam adhesive, you know, you're journaling, bringing it all together. And you don't need a ton of items for these things, but these will become kind of staple maneuvers you use when you're creating.
100%. Always go back to these
Yep.
techniques. Always, always.
Definitely. Yeah, and if you buy the things, use the things, but, you know, find inspiration somewhere. There's, you know, Creative Scrapbooker magazine, all the places you watch online, all the people you follow online. Find a sketch, find an amazing sketch. Maybe this isn't enough photos for you. We'll add another one at the end, right? Like it's,
Yep.
and share your spin on it because somebody else could be, that's brilliant.
Yep.
So mine looks nothing like that, but I totally used it as my jumping off point.
You never know.
Yeah,
But we would say it.
yeah. So there's another plug for Jennifer Edwardson. We highly recommend taking her classes. Nancy and I, for one, are super fans.
We are super fast.
Yeah.
Big time. Big time. So I don't think we're going to get to this, but I did bring this and I just wanted to show
Let's see.
where I'm going. I don't think we'll have time for me to actually do it.
Okay, so how perfect is this paper for Nancy? It's the Say Cheese Epic Italy collection.
Right. So I was like, I have these pictures that I've taken. So I traveled with boys. Did they go into the shops? No. So I started taking pictures outside of the shops. So I've also got, this is from the Simple Vintage Essentials color palette. So that's one option. Or I could just flip to the B side and I've got this Italian feel tablecloth for the food pictures.
Love it.
Right? So, do I know where I'm going with this? Not 100% yet. But what I did do is I grabbed the Colors of Italy cardstocks. Right?
So she'll do some matting.
Yeah, I
so
definitely
that
do some
these-
matting because it can't.
Because these photos will get lost on such a busy pattern.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm even wondering, you know how, I know I've done this a lot, where you leave just a small border. So this is a
Yes.
very busy piece of paper,
Yeah.
but I want the feel of this tablecloth. So what I'll probably end up doing, I don't know what color I'm going to pick, but I'll cut a piece of cardstock. So just so it leaves a little bit of a border around the outside.
Yep.
And then, I'll start, the other thing is I can't just use plain cardstock, so I might have to do some stamping or something on there.
Or some stenciling even.
Maybe, but
some
then
white splatter.
Yeah. And then I've got the A side to come back to with the food. I love pizza. Mamma mia.
Seeing something like this, Nancy could even trim this out. I know you have a photo of.
I do.
Holding it
up. Yeah, I did.
So you could trim that stuff out. You could trim this out, even the Italy word. Why not
Yep.
trim it down, pop it up? So you have to look at these things different ways. So there's the awesome tablecloth pattern she's going to use.
Yeah.
But then, because you always buy 2 sheets, that's
the rule.
if anything there, if that's the takeaway, that's always by 2 sheets. Because then the other side too, right, has so many opportunities in it as well.
Yeah.
You should have brought me a cannoli.
I should have brought you a cannoli.
Wow.
So Britta is asking, do I mix collections for the same trip? Yes and no. Okay, sometimes I'm going to. For this trip,
My answer is yes.
100% yes, I'm going to mix collections. Periodically, when I'm working on a specific theme on a chipboard album, I will pick a collection and go with it. But that doesn't suit my love of paper.
Exactly.
So I actually sent, as a joke, I sent to Heather some pictures of my trip while I was still on it and said, I'm going to use the 49 and Market Summer Porch on this one. So
and that's how Scrapbooker thinks,
we
right?
do.
You
We're
see a
just
photo
giggling.
with the colors, you're like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what paper I'm using.
Yeah.
So each layout could be from one collection, and
Yeah.
then you flip it and it's a whole different color scheme, so you're using a different collection.
Right.
And we have the things, so use the things. I'm not going to put myself in a box saying I started with Simple Stories and this trip I need to run it through. No, I don't.
No, in fact, this is
There's
Simple
no
Stories,
rules.
and the other I started with Minte. And
Yep.
the beautiful thing about that is, no, I don't buy 2. Okay, Joanne, she says buy 2 sheets of everything, so 2 paper packs. If the paper pack has 2 sheets of everything in it, I buy 1 paper pack.
Yes.
But Echo Park, I think, only has 1 run, so I might buy 2 of theirs.
Yeah, and it depends. If I've got a big plan for it,
That's the other issue, because if we get open stock, single sheet,
then I'll probably just buy
a second
most
one of
Simple
the top
Stories,
favorites.
Most 49 and Market and Vicky Booten. Generally, my rule of thumb is 2 sheets of everything because I love both sides.
Yeah.
And I don't want to limit myself to saying, well, I have to use this side. Those decisions are too hard to make for a paper crafter.
Right?
So I just buy 2 sheets.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where this is going, but I'm it's a back and forth. I started with knowing I wanted to honor the food. My title is probably going to be A Foodie's Paradise. Then I went to the B side and I got the tablecloth, and then I realized on the other side they got the Italian flag, so I pulled some cardstock. Do I know that all this is going to end up in here? No, not yet.
Yeah, exactly, Caroline. Same thing.
Yeah.
So, Britta, it's totally up to you, but I know you're a big scrapbooker too. You have the papers, so I think start digging through what you have to coordinate with the photos you have, and
the
go
only
with
thing
it.
that
Use it.
can be a slight concern, and by slight concern, it's not a concern if it doesn't bug you, is if you're flipping through your book and you have 2 clashing collections side by side, you just move a page,
could do that,
right?
or you just get over it.
That's my favorite way to do it.
Yeah.
That's why I said slight.
Anyways, yes. So
Anyhow,
I hope this gives you some ideas.
Yeah.
Nancy, we're both going to commit to posting our layouts when they're complete.
absolutely.
In the inspiration group.
Especially this food one. I'm getting hungry.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
The marzipan, I could have handled one of those. Pizza.
Limoncello spritz. You got one of those babies?
That looks really good too.
Yeah, I know. Oh, look at this. Check this. Sorry. Coffee bankomat. So you just go up to a wall and there's a coffee.
That is funny.
So that has to go in.
I need one of those at home.
I need a bankomat of coffee.
A bankomat.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us again. Please comment. Let us know. Ask us questions. Let us know if there's anything else that you're interested in learning about. We've certainly got lots to say about it.
We do, and like I said, we're back in 2 weeks.
So we need ideas.
We need ideas. Help us.
Okay.
Help us, please.
Oh, Carolyn had an idea. Hang on.
What's that? Another one, same layout but two different collections.